Welcome back to an all-new International Commission podcast. As you may have noticed, we're doing video every episode now.
Yay!
So you can be in the room with us, and it'll be much more fun. And we've got corny sound effects. I'm Bucky Elliott, and this is Grace Swanson. We both work here at the headquarters for International Commission, or wherever else it is that we go.
Wherever we are needed and called.
That's right, like Batman.
Woo.
Well, he kind of stays to Gotham, I guess.
He doesn't really travel.
Not always. That's off topic. Today we're going to talk about story time. We're not going to talk about story time. We're going to do
story time.
Have some story time, telling stories from in the field. And then we're going to have a segment called The Worst.
The Worst. Dun, dun, dun.
And you're just going to have to hang to see what that's about.
It's story time.
Well, let's get into it. Grace.
Yes. Okay.
We're going to share some stories. I've brought some stories from a trip to Vermont that I took recently. And we really haven't talked about on the podcast much.
Yeah.
Post-trip anyways. And then if we've got time, I can share some from the Middle East as well.
Whoa.
Did you bring some stories to tell?
I did. I brought a story from Kenya and then another one from my IC trip to Peru. So lots of good stories and then the worst stories as well. So the worst.
You know, it's just reality. Sometimes you have good times.
And sometimes they are just the worst.
It's pretty tough. The worst. Well, without much further ado, who's going to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm all ears.
I would love to share a story with all of you.
Ooh.
Are you in suspense? I'm going to get carried away with this.
I am.
From Vermont.
Okay.
We had, if you've seen our YouTube channel, which I hope you have.
If not, check it out.
Mm-hmm. We got a blog from the first time that I went up to Vermont with other team members to do the preparation retreat for a partnership that we had in October. And so you get a little cultural background and info, some information about just the communities that we worked with. And then we took our American team of participants from several different states up to Vermont in October to have the week of evangelism. So these churches had been working together. They had been praying for people that don't know the Lord. They've been building those relationships. And then during this week, we had our team come, and the plan is to work with people at those churches to go visit people that they've been praying for, share our testimonies, work with the locals to share the gospel, invite people to follow Christ, and then they're there long-term to continue that relationship. Well, it worked okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Let's be honest.
Which sometimes it does just go okay.
Sometimes it just goes okay. But actually, the reason I'm going to tell you the stories I'm going to tell you is to show you that God is in control, and our okay so many times is his awesome.
Yep.
And that's what we saw happen. The reason I say it was okay is after our team all arrived in Boston, and then we traveled from Boston by bus to a city where members from all these different churches picked up our team members.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were the people that we ended up staying with for the week if we had host homes.
Oh, fun.
But we all went to Baptist Fellowship of Randolph. And if you don't know the geography of Vermont, that's fine.
I still
don't. But there's little towns just all throughout the state. It's not a very large state, but they're kind of spread out. But we all gathered there in that one place to have our opening rally, which is what we typically do on one of these partnerships. And we celebrate that we're getting to work together. We kind of have a pep rally.
Excited for the week to come.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of remind everybody what we're here for, what we're going to do. We pray, we worship, we celebrate. Right after that celebration rally where we were meeting the people we were going to work with and doing all of that, Tim, who is a lay leader, he's just one of the church members at Baptist Fellowship of Randolph, but he's involved in a lot of leadership at the church, and it's kind of become his pastor's right-hand man.
Nice. We need those people.
I and my friend Lisa were partnered up with this church. And so we stayed with Tim and his family, and I have stories to tell you about that.
I've seen pictures and videos.
And but he was kind of the leader of Operation Andrew for their church.
Gotcha.
For the week. Well, he pulled Lisa and me and the elders of the church together after the rally to have kind of an emergency meeting.
Oh.
Because he realized, he opened it in a very humble way, saying, hey, I think we all need to admit and confess that we didn't really prepare the way that we were expected to.
Oh, gotcha.
Later, he told me that part of the reason is he was kind of skeptical. I'm not telling you anything that he didn't tell me on camera.
Yeah.
Also. And you can go and watch those stories on YouTube as well.
They're also there.
If you want to see more detail. He was kind of skeptical of the whole process. He'd seen people from other states, especially from the South, come and implement their...
Talk about their thing, which makes sense because a lot of other things don't really end up working all the time.
We intend good and they intend good. But just sometimes someone from another place that doesn't really know your culture, doesn't really know your
what
town,
to do.
Their model doesn't really work out. And so he was kind of skeptical about it. But he realized, man, these people are really here. They're really serious.
They actually do know what they're doing.
Yeah. And we really have an opportunity here. And so what can we do to make the most of the time? Because we don't want to waste this opportunity. So I was super blessed by that kind of response and responsibility. And so basically he proposed some ideas that he'd been thinking about over the weekend, and they said yes.
Nice.
And I thought that was a pretty big play because it meant spending money. It meant taking extra time from church staff and the members. One of the things that they wanted to do was go to laundromats and strike up conversations with people. Go and hand out hot chocolate and coffee at a soccer field where it was going to be really cold. In October up there, it's
really
cold already. And walk around town doing street evangelism, visit a retirement community, several different things like that. And one of the best ideas was they wanted to buy a bunch of gift cards to the local gas station that everybody in town goes to.
Oh, good idea.
So we could stand there and offer free fill-ups for people. And while they're standing there...
Tell them why you're doing it.
Exactly.
I love that.
So they said yes, so we went for it.
Nice.
And so began a series of surprises
for
Tim.
Good surprises?
Very good surprises.
Okay.
And... one of these surprises was that the very first day, really, that we were there, Lisa and I were staying at their house. And in fact, the Whitmans have 3 kids, and the kids gave up their bedrooms so Lisa and I could have bedrooms.
Aww.
And they slept in the basement with their cousins, which...
That's fun.
Kind of fun.
But also, it's your room to strangers.
It was sweet.
So that is sweet. Yeah,
but they were very, very hospitable. And so, like I said, their cousins were there. And that's another whole story why their cousins stayed with them that weekend. It's also on YouTube. It's a new one. Go and check it out. And but I'll tell you a short version of it here.
A sneak peek.
A sneak peek of the story. Well, one surprise was that the first salvation that we saw this week was in Tim's own household.
Whoa, plot twist.
Yeah. And so he was just pretty floored that we were thinking outreach, reach the community. But a family member that he'd been praying for years and years and years, we were able to have a conversation because the visiting missionaries were there.
That's really cool.
And he accepted Christ.
Wow.
So it was really, really cool.
That is awesome.
Again,
I didn't know that.
I should just tell you the whole story, but I got to tease a new YouTube video so you guys will go watch it.
Go watch the full thing.
It's called Prayer Saved My Nephew, I think.
Wow.
Prayer Changed My Nephew's Life. I should know. I wrote the title, but...
Something along that line.
I know how to use YouTube, so I'm just going to link the video right here.
And you can see it.
And you can go and watch it.
That's awesome. Wow.
Can I tell you another couple stories, or do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a couple more from Vermont.
Vermont.
Another story is how Tim was surprised again the first day that we went out from the house. So after having talked to Tim about this, through an interview and just because we were talked as we drove around during the week.
Sure.
He was telling me that he was really surprised because, one, he honestly didn't expect it to work so well.
Yeah.
And by work, I mean to even be able to have gospel conversations with people in Vermont, which in that culture, people don't really go to each other's houses very often.
Yeah, I heard that. That kind of was
Yeah.
like not Southern how we do things
It's
at all.
definitely
'Cause
not.
you host
But it's
people
also
all the
not.
time.
It makes it difficult to do ministry in the way that we usually
Normally
do it.
in homes.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We're usually in homes. And so, well, how do we get in homes? And that was one of the reasons that they didn't have a lot of home visits planned,
Because people
that they were
didn't-
kind of remorseful about, was they did try, but
Yeah.
just
The
they didn't
response wasn't
push
there.
very hard because, yeah, people like weren't
culturally,
very
that's just not what
open
they
to it.
do, I guess.
Yeah. So that's why we had to find other ways to go about it. And I mean, really, I'll have to say I'm kind of surprised by what God did too, because we really believe in the preparation and the prayer and the relationship building.
Yep.
When we see a lot of results, like people coming to Christ, it usually follows a lot of that preparation.
Yeah.
But God is going to do whatever He's going to do, right? And
He's
when
going to
we
work
show
the way
up,
he's going to work.
and we're available, He's going to work. And so that's what we saw happen
And he's going to surprise you.
with surprises. Like
With surprises.
the very first outreach we did, the very first day, was we went to a laundromat.
Okay.
And personally, you've heard this before, Grace, I like laundromat ministry.
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to show the love and kindness of Jesus through generosity, just offering to pay for people's washes.
Yeah.
And if they're not dropping off clothes and leaving and coming back, they're just sitting there.
What else are they going to do with their
Yeah.
time?
And
Other than
so, in all likelihood, when you offer to pay for someone's wash, they're going to ask you why. So now you have an opportunity.
To bring it up. Yep.
But especially if they sit there and they're just sitting around and
Yep.
you're sitting there and you strike up conversation, you've got a long time to talk.
to talk about. Yeah.
So it wasn't very busy. So we're like, oh man, I hope this isn't a bust.
yeah, like, oh, man.
But there was this one lady there, and Tim and this lady struck up a conversation, and he was asking her about just all kinds of things, just about life, about faith. She just wouldn't go there to the faith topic. She wasn't really interested in talking about.
Avoiding.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
really, when it came down to it, I think it's that she just doesn't think about that. She doesn't think about spiritual things. She doesn't
Yeah.
think about eternity. She's just very
Okay
materialistic
with
and
just
secular.
the way life is.
Yeah, because he eventually did, once he realized he's not really making any inroads to
Leeway.
a gospel conversation, he just asked her point blank, hey, ma'am, can I ask you kind of a serious personal question?
Oh. Did she say yes?
Scary in Vermont with
Yeah,
a stranger,
that's-
right?
yeah.
But she said yes. She
Oh.
said, sure, you can ask me anything. He was like, all right, yes.
Okay, cool.
So Lisa and I and a couple other church members that went with us, we were just praying. But what she said was, what he asked her was, what do you think will happen when you die?
Oh,
Well, there you go. Get right to it.
right to the point.
But you know what
But
she
that's a
said?
great question.
It is, because it's what it all comes down to.
Yeah.
What she said was, well, I don't have a lot of money saved up, but I have a will, and I have plans for,
Yeah.
my house and things to go to my kids. I've got a burial plot. She was thinking all practical.
All here. Not spiritual.
She didn't even
not
know that that's what
my-
he was asking. She didn't even understand that that's what he was asking. And so he just,
She
he
just
had
thought
to
her
keep just
things.
asking her more. Yeah. What will
Wow.
happen when you die? It was all practical answers.
Wow.
But then they did start talking about, man and God, heaven and hell, salvation, what it meant. And she was surprisingly open.
really?
And
Wow.
to jump to the end of the story, she wanted to accept Christ. Right then and there,
Wow.
like the first conversation Tim and her had ever had, total
And she-
strangers, no lead up or preparation really,
Wow.
just a bold witness of the
Conversation.
gospel through an authentic conversation. That's going to be a theme for my next story.
That's so cool.
And he led her in a prayer to accept Christ.
I bet he was like
He was
so excited, so pumped.
excited. He
Like-
was so excited. And so that really set the tone for it. So he was already really excited
Yeah.
that a family member accepted Christ. And then the next
first
day,
time
a
he
total
tried
stranger
and-
does the first try. And so he was ready
That is so
to
cool.
go. And we were busy all day, every day. And if we weren't doing one of those planned outreaches like the gas station or the soccer field, we were wandering the streets, which there's not many of them, but we were walking around like the town square, just striking up conversations with people. And wouldn't you know it, Vermonters are very friendly people.
Really?
And their hospitality is different.
Huh.
When you're out away from their private space,
Yeah.
they're very open
Really?
and very willing to talk.
But their own
if-
home is their own.
Yeah, like that's
Interesting.
their bubble,
Okay.
that's their place.
Which I feel like
they're
we're the
kinda on
opposite
different-
here.
Yeah.
Very much the opposite.
So, and you just have to kind of understand that. You know, we
different
think
cultures.
about other cultures and contextualizing missions approaches overseas,
So why not here
but we have
too?
to do it here. We definitely have
Which-
to do it
yeah.
here. Yeah, North and South are different, especially, New England and maybe even especially Vermont.
That
It's a
area.
unique kind of a place. But I grew up in Germany and I
Yeah.
found it to be very similar to the way that Germans build
Oh,
friendships.
Cool.
So once I realized that, we just were able to strike up conversations with people on the street. And if you approach them in a friendly and authentic way and ask them questions and got to know them and wanted to know what they thought about things, then they were really open to talk.
Wow.
And I think that made all the difference because
Yeah, for sure.
other people come up here. They have Jehovah's Witnesses come out. They have
Yes.
people, other people from, other Christians from different parts of the country come.
Yeah.
And
It's probably a very aggressive, very
Yeah,
You don't
they-
want to have a
they
conversation with,
they want to convert you to this or that.
yeah, and condemn you and tell you all the things that you
Yeah,
are not. And
yep.
it's like I don't
and
want
go
to
through this script and say we're right and you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, we're right
Yes.
and you're wrong, but
like, we're not here
the
to
Bible's
say
I'm
it
not
that
I'm not
way.
here to like debate you. I just want to connect heart to heart with you.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you approached them that way with a genuine friendship, friendliness, curiosity, they were really open to talk. And one of the best conversations we had was in a cannabis dispensary. Believe it or not. Now, my thinking was, one, well, here's a challenge, and I want to take on this challenge. Like, this is probably going to be hard ground in here.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Let's
This is really
try.
funny. Like,
Why not?
as you might
We're
imagine
Here.
in a stereotypical way, the guys in there were the chillest ever.
Oh, we
They
have
were-
neighbors who, let's just say, partake, and they are
partake
the
of the herbal
friendly.
remedies.
They are the friendliest, chillest. They're always, I'm blessed, and I'm like, me
So
too.
I
but
took
not-
advantage of that. And let me tell you, I talked for probably 45 minutes to one of the guys behind the counter there.
Wow.
And he was just, he talked about his Christian upbringing and how he's kind of slid away from it. He's kind of universalist now.
Yeah.
But I was able to ask him any question, and he asked me hard questions, and we went back and forth, and he was genuinely interested in this conversation. And
Wow, that's
he did
cool.
tell me that I said things to him that he'd never really thought of before, just different things about the aspect of having a relationship with Jesus and knowing my position before God because of what Christ did and
Yeah.
not because of what I
Can
do
do
or what I
or
can do or can't do.
legalistic, yeah.
Because his upbringing was very legalistic. And so it
Wow.
it chipped away the ice a little bit.
I'm
but
sure
it
it
was,
did,
It was
yeah.
also just a really fun conversation. And I asked him if he would be opening to talking to other Christians in the area. And he said he was.
Wow.
So-
and see, if you'd just
Yeah.
been like, oh, this is too hard, I can't
Yep.
talk to this person, then never would have had that conversation.
Yeah. And if I'd gone into, a little two guns blazing with a
Yes.
script and an agenda, he probably
He probably would have
been
shut
open.
down and
But-
said like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
But wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, they're friendly people. They're proud of where they live. They're some of them, I think this is an advantage. Some of them do pride themselves on being, quote, open-minded.
Yes.
It's like, well, if you're open-minded, can we talk about
this.
this?
Are you
And,
open-minded toward this thing?
So now some people weren't. I don't want
Yeah.
to paint it all ponies and rainbows.
Yeah.
We definitely had people that were like, I don't want anything to do with that.
Yep. Which
And,
you will find those
It's
people
like,
anywhere.
Okay, well,
So-
shake the dust off and keep moving,
Yep, for sure.
So
Wow.
here was another surprise for me. And, I feel like I shouldn't have been surprised. Like, I kind of feel convicted that I was surprised because I always say, if you step out, God will work.
Yep.
If you just show up, missions is about being available.
He always surprises me, and I
not
never
about-
should be.
Yeah.
But he does every single time.
It's not about having the right tactics or strategy or whatever.
Nope.
And, just show up, be faithful, show and tell the love of Christ to people.
Yeah.
He's going to do it. Okay, so
That's
here's the story.
awesome.
So we did go to the gas station one day.
Okay.
It was kind of a slow start, but we had a bunch of gift cards, and people would pull up to the pump. We tried not to accost them right away. You
Yeah.
know, we kind of learned the art of when to walk
Not
up.
to be too creepy. And
Yeah, but
like,
you got to catch them before they pay.
Hey. So you have to kind of stand and look a little bit like,
Yeah.
ooh.
So anyway, we kind of waited till they got out of the car, and we walked them and said, "Hey, excuse me, how are you? Good morning."
Yeah.
Which, when that happens to me at a gas station, someone's always selling
something. So I'm like, no, thanks.
So we had to try to just be very personable.
Yeah.
Again, with the authenticity. So one of these instances was this guy pulls up, and he gets out of the car. I greet him and I say, "Hey, can I offer you a gift and just pay for your fuel today?" And most people were kind of skeptical or would ask, "Well, why
Yeah.
are you doing this?" And that was a great opportunity to say, "Well, just to share the love of God, no strings attached." And I said something to that effect that, I just want to show you that God loves you in a practical way. He stopped. He gave me a hug. He said, "That's awesome." I'm not going to say it. And I was like, "Oh."
Like, okay.
And he goes, "Hold on, I'll be right back." So he goes in the store,
No
does something or
way.
other. He comes back and starts the pump. And we just talked for 10, 15
Wow.
minutes. And he goes, "So tell me again, like, what this is crazy. Tell me again, like, why did you want to offer this to me?" And I just, told him something to the effect that, yeah, we just want to share Christ's love with people. And whenever the opportunity comes up, I want to share the reason for the hope that I have in Jesus. How he
Wow.
loved me. I gave him a quick little gospel presentation as a segue there. How he loved me even when I was still a sinner by
Yeah.
giving his life for me. The ultimate example of love, no strings attached, except that I accepted his gift and give
Yeah.
him my faith and trust and turn away from the sin that he died for. It was a lot clearer in the moment because the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit was speaking. But he was just hooked.
Wow.
He was gripped, and he wanted to know more about it. And then he said, "This is the sign I've been looking for." And I said,
He'd
"What do
been
you
waiting.
mean?" He said, I believe in God. Like, I know who Jesus is. I know that he died on the cross. I've just been asking for God to show me somehow that he is thinking about me. That he's got, or he
Wow.
said something like that. I just been
Yeah.
asking God to show me that he's got my back
Wow.
and that he really loves me. And so we had this conversation about that. Like, what is it to be loved by God? How can you
Yeah,
know
for
that you're
sure.
loved by God? So we talked about the gospel. I shared some of my testimony, and I told him, this is available for you right here, right now. Like, God has spoken to you.
Yeah.
Here we are. This is not an accident. God put
No.
us face to face, and this is the sign. This gift that I gave you, I just gave you out of kindness. I don't expect anything from you. And that's like what Jesus did for us. It's a gift. He gave it to you, and then it's your, it's up to you to receive it or not.
Yeah.
You didn't pay for it.
Nope.
You didn't earn it, but it's there,
But it's there
to
for you.
receive if you want to. And he said, I do. I just never, I don't know how.
Wow.
So come to find out, he had been really trying to pursue God. He wanted a relationship with God. He just was having a hard time believing that God really paid personal attention to him,
Yeah.
or that he
Wasn't
could,
just a being that existed.
Yeah.
But actually
and
cared
that
about
salvation,
him.
Jesus died on the cross meant something, and he could benefit from that.
Yeah.
He just didn't know how.
That's
No
so
one had ever
cool.
told him how to accept Christ.
Wow.
And sometimes it's that
Yeah.
simple. Sometimes people do know, sometimes they've heard, but they haven't connected the dots between what Jesus did a long time ago, and that God is kind of up there
Yeah.
and he cares about us, but does he love us, and the fact that they can actually have a relationship with him and they don't have to
Do
cross off
anything
these,
and
don't have to check all these certain boxes
Yeah.
before that can happen. You
Wow.
know,
That would be a crazy piece of information here if you thought your entire life, I have to do this, I have to do that, and to be like, what? Like, that would be crazy.
yeah,
and it would be
I had the
life-changing.
benefit of, I was raised in a Christian home and kind of like this guy, his name is Ethan, kind of like Ethan. I knew all about Jesus. I
Yeah.
could tell you, oh
The
yeah, he's the Son of
stories
God.
and
Did his miracles. He taught this, he taught that. He had control over nature. He even raised the dead. He died for our sins. He rose again, and he offers salvation to the world. I could tell you that even when I was like 5 or 6 years old. But there came a time when I realized, wait a minute, what about me though? What does that have to do with me?
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to become a Christian. And so, thankfully, my dad walked me through that. But imagine you're in
don't
your
have it.
late 20s, early 30s, and you know all of that stuff, but you still never began that relationship with Christ.
It would be really excited if someone came along and
Yeah.
told
But
you
it's
the
crazy
missing
to me though that
piece.
it's really that simple.
It is.
It's just crossing that bridge from death to life. And knowledge is one thing, faith is another. Putting
Yep.
your full trust in Jesus is another.
That's really cool.
But that was a surprise to me. Just that random of an encounter. It
And
wasn't
so
random.
excited
It wasn't
immediately,
random. That's the
yeah.
funny thing is
It's
I
not random.
told Ethan it wasn't random, but
To
in my
us-
head it was like this still was a pretty wild chance
How did that
encounter.
happen? Wow. Nothing's random with God.
So, suffice it to say, we were really excited. Things like that kept happening through the week. We had throughout Vermont, I think we had 3 salvations there, just in their town that week. Lots more gospel conversations. Got to
Yeah.
pray with lots of different people, and we encountered some Mormons and had a chat. It was kind of more of a debate.
It tends to
They
be
sometimes they're really interested in conversation. Sometimes they just want to argue.
Yeah.
So it didn't go great, but anyways, we did get to do that.
Yeah.
And Tim's church was just really excited. And
That's
throughout
great.
Vermont, we had, I think, 21 salvations among
That's
the different teams
awesome.
doing the same kind of stuff. And so they're really excited. We have another team going back again in May.
Yes, in May.
So,
It'll
hey,
be
you know
good.
what? You can be part of that. You can go and experience some of this and continue the work up there.
Yeah, for real. Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, there's always surprises, but it's like, it's not surprises to God.
No,
It's surprises
that's
to
the funny
us,
thing is I always
but-
say that God is like the ultimate prankster.
Yes.
He set up all these things even before time began, and he
He said,
knew it was going to
"Haha, I
happen. He's
know.
like, you just
trust me, and I
just
will,
trust me. Just go. You're going to be surprised.
and I'll surprise you." That is so cool. Well, yes.
Let's have some applause.
Some applause. So I have 2 shorter stories, but one of them is from Kenya. So I grew up going to Africa, specifically Kenya, several times because my mom grew up there. My dad went on trips all the time. And this story, I had actually told IC staff when I got back, but it was really cool because typically when we go, we do vacation Bible school for the kids at the church. But a few years ago, we had started doing an outreach in the village. So we would drive out and we would set up tents on a random mountain in the middle of the villages, and they would have to walk to vacation Bible school. So some of the teachers would walk like 4 hours in the morning.
Oh, wow. That's
They'd
humbling.
be there and they'd walk 4 hours at night. And meanwhile, we're getting on a bus. Like, we're getting on a bus and being driven up and down. But we actually, for the first time ever on the last trip I went on, they were like, let's do some evangelism just around. Like, because we don't have contact with the adults. We would speak and talk to the kids. And we were super excited because there was quite a few witch doctors in the area. And they had said that the witch doctors' kids had actually come to vacation Bible school. They'd allowed them to come, which we were like, that's cool, because if the kids are taking that home, then maybe we do have an impact on the parents as well. So we went and we started doing evangelism just in the little huts. In this one house, for sure, they were like, all right, there's known witchcraft here, like just letting you know. But they said that they'd be open to talking with us. So we went and they were talking to this man and he was like, yeah, he was like, I don't really do that anymore. And like kind of very vague, didn't want to like really get into it. But our bus driver, Patrick, he was one of the church members and he was with us. They're speaking Swahili. We could not really understand. All we knew is they were having kind of a discussion and we're sitting on the ground. There's no chairs. We're sitting on the ground and Patrick's just kind of like running his hand on the dirt next to him and we're kind of like, okay. And he's just sitting there talking, having this conversation. And I look at him and he feels something in the ground as he's talking. And there's like a bottle buried in the ground. And he's sitting there and he's still talking to this guy who's like, no, I don't really do this anymore. Like I gave up witchcraft. And he digs up this bottle and pulls it out. And it's a whole bottle with this mixture of stuff. And this dude instantly was kind of like, oh. And Patrick was like, he pulled it out and they started talking like it wasn't heated, but very animated. And we were like, what is going on? And he gets the bottle and he smashes it. And the man's just like talking. They end up having this really cool conversation. And like, we know we're praying. We had no idea what we were praying about, but we bowed our heads as they prayed, walked back to the van, and we went, Patrick, what was that? Like, what just happened? And he was like, oh, I found some of his witchcraft stuff. Like, he had potions
Like
that he
a
had
potion?
made and hidden in the ground, and he hadn't completely given it up. So he's like, me and the church elder, we're sitting here going, why are you telling us you've given this up if we're finding it right here? Like, do you really want to give this up? Because if you do, we need to get rid of it. And so the man gave permission, and that is why he smashed the bottle on the ground.
That's cool.
And the man instantly was like wanting to pray and like repent and speak about it. But it was really cool because we really just they're the locals there. They just kind of did it, and we had no idea. So it was really cool to watch that, not have any context, and then go back and be like, what was that? Like, it was kind of a weird interaction just to be a part of because he pulled this whole bottle out of the really dry African dirt that had been buried there for quite a while, but he was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna give that stuff up and I want to truly like get rid of it. So very open, and that was a surprise. Was not expecting that to happen.
That's cool.
At all. And then my second story was actually from Peru, which, fun fact, I went with Bucky. That's my only
That was a
IC
great
trip I've actually ever been on. I'm going on another one later this year, but this story, we went and visited this lady in her home, and she was having a lot of pain in her legs. She was probably 80 or 90 years old, like really, really old. And she could not walk. She was like crying in tears like every day because she was in so much pain in her legs. And her daughter was there and she was explaining, like, we can't get this surgery. Like, we've been trying so hard. And believe it or not, like, the surgery was they wanted to take her legs off, like, below her knee. Like, but she wanted this, but they couldn't afford it. It was something they couldn't afford it or the doctors wouldn't do it. And so she was just in pain. And she was like, I'd rather not. Like, she's like, I can't walk anyway. But just, she's sitting there crying and sobbing. And we're holding her hand and praying over her. And my partner, Chantel, she was really just, like, praying over. Like, Lord, I don't know what the answer to this is. But she's in pain. And we believe that you are the great physician and great healer. And they'd been waiting months, years, I don't even know how long, a long time. And me and Chantel left. We were going on with our day, and literally within an hour, we get a random phone call, and they're like, the doctor just called us saying that they'll do the surgery.
Oh, wow.
And we were like, what? Like, it was just like the weirdest, like, giddy excitement. Like, we were in the car, like, what? Like, again, it's one of those moments where, like, how does that even happen? Like, who are we to question God's power? But it's like, you sit there and you get goosebumps and you get such excitement because you're like, it wasn't you, but God used you in that moment. And you're like, what just happened? Like, how have they been waiting this entire time?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden he's like, okay, like maybe they needed that boost to be like, I am real. Like, I sent these people to pray with you about it.
I think so many times that's kind of what it is. There's nothing special about us when we go.
No.
The people that we work with, they're there already. They already care about the people around them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have invited us.
Yeah,
And they
for
would
sure.
have been preparing and doing Operation Andrew, right? But it's just sometimes another witness, another encouragement, another, example, proclamation
Yeah.
of the gospel and a God who loves them and God does stuff.
And it's every single time. Like every single time you prepare, you go and you know God's going to work, but then you leave and you're on the field and you're like amazed every single time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, God. I should not be this, flabbergasted that you can do this. But like I always think like, he wants us to have childlike wonder at him. Like, and I feel like that's our
Yeah.
truest form of like, what? Like, how do you do that? Like, it just makes you even more passionate about what we're doing. So it's really awesome. And I know everybody has millions of stories. That's why it's like
I've
you
just
can go on the
thought
same
of like
trip.
5 other ones that are things kind of like that. But
you can go on the exact same trip and have totally like we were on that trip. You weren't with me on that visit. You were off doing your own
we
thing.
were off in Shapira,
Yeah.
which is in the middle of
Nowhere.
nowhere. But it was awesome though.
But see, you have completely different stories. We were in the exact same place basically, but completely different stories and visits, which is always so fun to get to talk with everybody who's
Yeah,
on the
that's
trips
one of
and
the
hear.
most fun things, especially if you're like staying in the same like central
Yeah.
place when you're out in different areas each
Be like,
day.
so what did you do today?
And you share your
what
stories,
did
and
you
you're
do
like,
yesterday?
that's very different.
Than what
But
we went through. But we're in a same 30-mile like radius for the
Yeah.
most part. Yeah, super crazy. So many good stories though. It's hard to just pick a few, but you have to wait for more podcast episodes.
yeah, that's right. We got plenty of more stories you got to hear.
We have to save
At some
of
point,
them.
yeah, we got to save some. We got to
You
save
just got
some.
to.
You hear about the lady I accidentally healed.
What?
You got to see, that's a hook.
That's a title. So come back for that podcast.
The lady I accidentally healed. I'll have
Yep.
to take a note and actually tell that story.
do that.
There was one of the
Yeah.
things I was reminded of was a lady in Cuba who burned her idols.
Wow.
But she did it like after we left the house, and it was kind of like that. The locals
Wow.
knew what were going. The locals knew
Yeah.
what was going on. We didn't.
But you're kind of
really.
like, what is? Yeah.
And like she was really into Santeria, which I did not know much about at that time. It's kind of like voodoo.
Oh.
It's a a form of witchcraft. And anyway, yeah, that was one of the problems. She was
Wow.
she was deeply into that,
Into it.
but she gave her life to Christ, and she decided she wanted to give it up. And so later that
Wow.
day, she'd burned all
And
all
see,
her
that
idols.
memes so much because it's like that is someone's entire belief
Yeah,
system.
that was
to
real.
just-
Yeah,
and
her
not
whole
even,
life. This was an elderly lady, so
and not
she,
even in front of people, but to be so convicted that
Yep.
afterwards to do it in private, like
That's why.
you
That's one of the
meant
reasons
that.
that was so special.
yeah,
Because yeah, we were there. We had the conversation. They talked for hours, and I didn't know what was going on. But then, we found out after we left later that day. She was, and
and went and did
like
it,
I guess just the Holy Spirit told her to do it.
and just
and
went, all right, I'm done
yeah,
with this.
So really, really cool.
That is
So
awesome.
you'll just have to
Stay tuned
keep listening and hear more crazy stories.
because we have a lot of them.
Lots of them. Lots of them. All right, so we're gonna move on.
Is it time?
It's time.
The
Listen, we're still gonna
worst.
share other stories, but this time we're gonna talk about the worst. The worst. On
The
this segment, we talk about
worst.
sometimes we list the worst types of things we've experienced, things we like the least, kind of a ranked list. Sometimes we just tell a story about the worst type of thing that has happened, or just a catastrophe that happened on the mission field or while traveling. Sometimes it's about food. Sometimes it's about lodging. Just some of the
Some things are
some
just
of the
crazy.
downers that happen sometimes when you travel, because again,
do happen.
Gotta be honest, it's not always happy and
No.
easy and fun. Looking back, it's
They're
fun.
fun stories
They're
to
fun
tell,
stories to
but
tell.
in
And
the
you
moment-
survived, and you know what? There really is. I'm gonna make it spiritual again.
Do it.
There really is joy in suffering when you're doing it for the Lord.
Yep,
And so
for sure.
these stories I look back fondly upon now. God worked something awesome out of it, but it was not fun at the time. And in fact, it was the worst.
The worst.
Okay. Tell me the worst story.
Oh.
What is our category?
All right. I don't know. I have airport and I have just random excursion. I feel like every time you're in a new country, you end up
You
going
go
on
do
some sort of
something.
excursion
Okay,
or do something.
I'll think of one of those.
So,
but I've got an airport one. So, all right, what was your worst airport experience?
My worst is, again, with Kenya. So if you've ever been to Kenya, you typically stop in Nairobi. And Nairobi Airport, whenever you are leaving the country, you cannot go into the airport until it is time for your flight to leave. So you have to hang out.
There's no Cinnabon. There's no...
There's one random kind of restaurant that's open 24 hours, but the windows are open and exposed, and it's hot and muggy. Mosquitoes. So this was actually a few years ago, but I came into work here after I got back, and JT was like, "What is wrong with your legs?" I made the mistake of leaving. I was not wearing my compression socks yet for the plane. So
a travel essential, everybody.
A travel essential. So I had from my ankle up into my knee was just kind of open, and I tried draping my blanket over top. Mosquitoes galore. I have never seen, and they're not like Texas mosquitoes. They are like a different breed. Like, they are huge and they are terrifying, and you don't even know that they're biting you. Here I feel like you can feel them and you're like, but I didn't realize how bit up I was because we sat out in the open for probably 8 hours. Like, it's not just a few.
This story gets worse and worse.
8 hours. So you have to sit there and just kind of, it's a cool little place. They have a piano in there. They're playing music.
Outside?
It's inside, but
it's
the
out,
windows,
but it might as well be outside. Okay.
Yes.
I'm tracking with you.
I got home. I didn't realize how bad it was until I was like, man. And it was here at work. I realized it. I was like, my legs are so itchy. And I like lifted up my pant leg. Dots everywhere.
Like a rash, but it's mosquito bites.
I sat there and I counted. Now, mind you, it's not a lot of surface area, just ankle to knee on each leg. I had over 150 mosquito bites. When that's a lot of bites and not a lot of space to bite. So my legs were like red.
It was all
itchy.
compacted, concentrated within.
So, and like
skin.
even when you are in the airport, their giant windows are still open. Like, they don't have AC, so naturally the windows are open. There's monkeys in the airport. There's mosquitoes in the airport. So it wasn't bad in the moment. It's kind of annoying, but I thought I'd had them covered pretty well when, in fact, I did not. So please, if you ever go to Nairobi or anywhere that may possibly, just wear long pants, just wear high socks, just save yourself the trouble because you don't want to be itchy like that because it was.
And then wait,
fun.
What you didn't talk specifically about here was you had to actually fly home.
Yes.
While just
and Nairobi, so that was our second
with itchiness.
Yeah, well, it didn't set in though. That's the thing. It did not set in until after I was home, and it was literally here in the office where I was sitting here going, "Man, like that's really, really itchy. Like I don't know what that is. I thought I got a bite or two. I knew they were there. You could see them, but oh boy, was I in for a surprise!" And
did you need an ocean of calamine lotion?
Basically, it was really bad. It was really bad. So it was the worst. That worst airport. Worst airport experience. Love the country to death, but prepare when you go.
I've got 3 thoughts, and some of them are just kind of random, all right?
All right.
That's how it works with me. 1, that piano, how do they keep it in tune?
I don't know. It's just sitting in the middle of, but the thing is, it's upstairs also, and you can't just leave your luggage. So all of us, like 11 of us, dragged our entire boatload of luggage, and they have a guard watching it because.
And you pay him, right? You tip him?
Yes, we'll tip him before we leave. Sure. But we're in there like sleeping. We're like, because you can't sleep in the airport. So I don't know what everybody else does, but we were the only people in there. I've done it 2 or 3 times. You can order food. They bring you the menu. They have like music playing. There's a piano. You can literally just play on it. Okay. Like, but it's right across the street from the hotel. But you have to walk your luggage there, walk it down the stairs, walk it upstairs, and then walk it into the airport. When you think you're in the airport and you're safe, you are not. We still had another 2-hour wait once we were inside the airport, and it was still mosquitoes. So, yeah, it's quite the experience. I've learned my lesson. You would have think that was like my 4th time going. I don't know why that time was so particularly bad, but I learned.
Well, yeah.
I learned.
Yeah,
I'm surprised I didn't contract a disease.
So that was another question I was going to ask you. I'm holding up my fingers because I got a couple questions of trying to keep track of them. Another one is, so I guess this is not West Africa. So West Nile's probably not your
No, malaria.
concern.
Is the
Malaria for sure.
Which, fun
yeah.
fact, my mom almost died from malaria twice. So we are big on taking the malaria meds because it is not fun. So, but no.
Well, that leads me to my
that.
third question, which is, as gingers,
Yes.
number one, the sun is not kind to us.
Not at all.
Some of those malaria medications make you even more sensitive to the sun. Do you have that problem?
I've never noticed, but I'm sure it does. And also, just being in Africa in general, you are like right in the direct.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So you just slather on the sunscreen and try to wear sleeves and stuff.
And do the best you do the best you can. Thankfully, we're under tents when we're there, or we're inside.
That's good.
We're inside at the church, or we're under tents outside. So it's not usually the worst. But oh boy, very humid, very mosquito friendly.
So another question. I really wonder. Someone needs to do this research project, or if they've done it already. Let me know. Maybe you can look it up, Grace.
Okay.
Are gingers more susceptible to mosquito bites?
Oh.
So I know some people are, and I've heard that it's blood type, really, that makes the difference.
Is it really sweeter
But
when
I
they
don't
say
know
you're
if
sweet?
Is it
Let's see. Let's
a
see
blood
what
type
Google
thing
says.
or a
No,
fairness of skin
we're not
thing?
special.
It's not? Okay.
No.
Well, we are, but not...
But the myth persists because mosquitoes are attracted to the color red and orange.
Well, there you go.
Well, then to me that seems like it's true.
Yeah. It's not for the same reason. That's not the blood, is sweeter.
It's not the blood, but it's the...
You're like, oh...
But also it's saying redheads have more sensitive skin.
Yeah,
so that could
just,
also be it.
It is worse when you get bit.
Yes. But also, our hair is red. And if they're saying they like red...
Well, you're wearing it right now, too.
I
you
am.
didn't learn at all.
No.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Everybody should be careful when you go to Africa of mosquitoes, but especially if you have fair skin. The sun and mosquitoes are going to get you.
They will get you.
So my secret is, besides wearing sleeves, which let me tell you, just in general life, I hate wearing sleeves.
I do too.
It's
just you feel
I wear shorts whenever I can. I even wear kilts sometimes, and I just don't. I don't want to be wearing sleeves. But when I travel, I just do it because
it's saving yourself a lot of
sun and bugs.
Sun and bugs.
Yep, and also just appropriateness. Like we do home visits on our partnerships, so you just never really know how formal people are.
Sure.
So wear pants. Anyway, permethrin though. I coat my travel clothes in permethrin.
I've never heard of it.
Basically, you just spray it on, you treat it. It's like colorless, odorless, but you spray it on there and you let it dry.
Smart.
You have to let it dry before you can wear the clothes. But after that, it'll stay active for like 20 washes, I think, something like that.
Oh, okay.
But it repels pests, including mosquitoes. Like you don't smell anything. It doesn't feel different.
Not like bug spray where you can like...
Yeah, it's like
the smell never goes
magic,
away.
Except that it's science. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe I need to get that.
It helps to repel them. Yeah,
I need to do that next time.
Permethrin. All right, one of my worst airport experiences, which I've got lots of them.
I'm sure you do.
This one, I think you've probably heard already. Also, I don't know if I've told this on the podcast before. I could have.
It could be a brand new.
You know, you get it. I never tell the same story twice, so maybe you get
a
different perspective on it. But I've had a lot of crazy experiences like that where it was just environmentally difficult.
Yes.
But one was in Europe. Just one of the worst layover experiences. And it was at one of my formerly favorite airports, Schiphol in Amsterdam.
Okay.
Used to just love that airport so much. It is, I think, well designed. There's lots of little spaces to kind of get away. They have a bunch of like atrium and courtyard kind of things where you can get fresh air. They have libraries. They have sleep pods. Some of them are free. They've just got lots of great accommodations. So if you're going to be, they have a couple different food courts and they have awesome stuff.
Wow.
There's actually a Jamie Oliver restaurant there and the food
That's
court. I mean, they've got a
wild.
lot going for them. But KLM as an airline has just really sunk. I'm telling you. At least in this particular instance, we were going to Spain.
Okay.
I was not leading this trip. Guy Weathers was leading this trip. We were on the way to Spain. We had a layover in Amsterdam. I don't remember how many of us there were. It was at least, I think, maybe 20 of us.
Yeah, that was a bigger trip.
And so during that layover, we noticed that a lot of flights were being delayed. And Schiphol is a big hub within Europe,
Okay.
and then from Europe to other places. And so once delays start happening in other places, it's a chain reaction, which is a common thing. But it just kept getting worse, and we're just noticing delay after delay after delay. Ours were
Yeah.
delayed, and we were watching that board just turn yellow, yellow, yellow. Then we started watching it turn red. Canceled.
Oh,
Flights
no,
just
that's
started
the
getting canceled.
worst.
And we were trying to figure out what's going on. Like, we couldn't really get an answer. It wasn't really hitting the
Like,
news
why
yet.
is it?
Weren't really sure. There were storms in the UK or somewhere like that, and they were blaming it on
Interesting.
that. And so we're trying to ask people what's going on. But we also just watch this line start growing, and it's the rebooking line. And so first thing
Oh,
we do, Guy
lovely.
Weather says, hey, a couple of y'all need to go get in that line. We'll just try to figure out what's going on. We'll try to go to a different desk
Yeah.
or things like that. And so several different methods. We're trying to figure out what's going on. And after, oh man, it's probably an hour and a half, we start getting to the front of the line I was in, and I realize that the people are walking away rather upset.
Oh, no.
There's another line, actually, the first one that we tried to go to, people were standing in line and standing there a long time. Someone came out of that line and told us, this line is to get to a kiosk where you book an appointment to talk to someone from the airline. And I was
No
like,
way.
I'm not
Like,
doing
we're not
that.
doing that. No way.
And then someone was trying to talk to the office, and we were just trying to figure out what to do. People were trying to call the airline, trying to get online to rebook, which is, by the way, the first thing you should try is just get online or get on the app and try to rebook. It'll save you time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it was shut down because so many people were doing it. It did not work at all.
No way.
They would not pick up the phone. It didn't work at all. You got a busy signal. Even calling the hotline, that's bad news.
That is bad news.
So anyway, the line that I was in, we were getting up toward the front. People were leaving, and then one of the KLM employees said that they are going to shut down this line after the next 10 people. And I was like, chaos is going to ensue.
It will for
we
sure.
need to get out of here. And so we went back.
People are
We
going to
found
be
Guy,
upset.
and we were like, all right, we need to figure out what we're going to do. Like, you need to tell us, make a decision. Are we going to leave the airport? Are we going to try to ride trains to get to Spain? Are we going to go on a different airline? What are we going to try to do?
My stress levels would have skyrocketed.
And so the first thing we did was we gathered around to pray. So people had all these different ideas of what we should do. We didn't really know if any of those would work out. There were complications with all of these different scenarios. And so we did just pray. And long story short, we ended up leaving the airport. We weren't really sure what that meant for our bags. Were they going to get sent on? Would they let us claim them? And then they wouldn't let us claim them. Also, we couldn't. Like, what was happening was, this is an important part of the story, what was happening was airport staff and KLM staff were walking out. So they were having a strike, basically, because of lots of stuff going on. It's very complicated. But they were walking out, and so it was pretty much shutting down. So no baggage handlers, no baggage claim, nothing. Like, just you had to leave. And then, you couldn't, like, go through customs and go into the country that you didn't plan to go. Anyway, this
no
whole
way.
thing. But we decided to leave the airport. And so in Europe, if you're not familiar with it, in the Schengen area, if you land, you clear customs. In Europe, you can go to most other European countries without having to go through customs
Gotcha.
or whatever, passport control again. So we did. We left the airport. We got on a train. I think we had shuttles, but we rode shuttles to with our carry-ons and personal item
With
to
wow.
a hotel. This hotel ended up being at one opposite end of an express line, a train express line. The other end of that line was right downtown Amsterdam, like where all the tourist
Wow.
stuff
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
And so, but we were sitting there at the hotel, and the plan was hang around here until you get a call or an email that you've been rebooked, and then
Okay.
immediately go to the airport. Just get the shuttle, go to the airport, and we're probably not going to all go together, but it might be 2 here, 3 there, 4 there, and we'll all make
Yeah.
it to Spain eventually. Well, we were late at this point, and the opening rally was happening, so we just zoomed in to it. So we participated in the opening rally from the hotel
Wow,
lobby
right
on
after
Zoom, and we were
all
like, "Hey,
that.
well, good to meet you all. We'll be there when we get there."
That's wild.
And so for the next few days, it was pretty much sit there, wait, try to make the most of it. So we talked to the hotel staff.
goodness.
I think someone led the girl behind the counter to Christ.
Wow.
We went out in town, walking around, trying to have conversations with people. A lot of people speak English, so that was good.
Yeah.
And then I think by like the middle of the second or third day, our leader guy was like, or we stopped and we had Bible studies and prayer meetings throughout the time. So we had
Yeah.
some good team building time. But basically said, since we're on one end of an express, nonstop train line, it's hard to get lost. Everyone who
Yes.
wants to, why don't you go into town and make the most of it and,
While
see
we're
the
here.
sights and just check out Amsterdam. But the rule is, if you get your email or call, you get right back on the train immediately. Come back here and go to the airport. So everyone agreed that that's what we're going to do, and pretty much that's what we did. We went downtown. We took a canal tour on one of the little boats. We looked at the shops. We had some pancakes. Walked through town where we saw things we shouldn't see. But that's the world. And
Yep.
and so some people were already getting rebooked, and just throughout the course of this like 2 or 3 days, I think we were stuck a total of like 4 days. We only had what we had brought on the plane with us.
Wow.
So one day goes, next day goes. I always pack extra clothes and toiletries in my
I do
carry-on
too.
because I've
For
had
things like
experiences like
that.
this before. But man, I started running out of stuff, and
Oh no.
once I'd worn my underwear twice and inside out and backward. I didn't actually do that, but I was like, something's got to give here. I definitely don't want to be wearing the same socks day after day and stuff.
No,
I'm like,
you
something's got to
don't.
give. So we're like, well, I guess let's go shopping. Like, I don't want to go out and spend money and then they're going to just be like, get on the airplane.
Yeah.
But I did. We went and found a little shop, and I had to get some socks and underwear, man, and another T-shirt.
Wow, that's wild.
So, like, if you just take a shower and then put that back on, you still feel gross.
Yes.
So
Like,
anyway,
ew.
I'm like, I'm in Europe. I'm not in Africa or India where you're just gonna be sweaty all
Yeah.
the time. Like,
But still, like wearing dirty clothes.
Yeah,
You're
I
like, I
don't-
don't want to do that.
so I did, and I decided I will wash my clothes. So I've washed. I'm no stranger to washing my clothes in the hotel room. You just wash them. You hang them up on a line or wherever you can hang them, and wait for them to dry out. Well, wouldn't you know it? About 2 a.m. I get a
Oh,
call.
dear.
Hey, you've been rebooked. Pack it on up and head to the airport. And I'm like,
No.
oh, my clothes are wet. So everything except like those new clothes
No.
were wet, and I just had to pack them wet and head on to the airport. So I
That's
did.
crazy.
And then the rest of the story is great. We got on the plane, made it there. We're very happy to be there.
Were the clothes moldy?
And,
Were
no,
they
but they
still
were pretty
soaking wet?
stank when we got
Stank?
there. I mean, it was not that many hours, but it was.
I'm sure they were,
pretty
though.
damp and just gross. Yeah.
Oh man,
So it was an adventure.
that is crazy.
So I've had
Jeez, yeah, no,
worse,
that's
actual, and more miserable things happen, but
Yes,
that one was
but that
just
one is
such
like
a
a-
mess of so
in
many.
and of itself.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, that is a mess. Jeez Louise. Well, this next the worst story. I'm going to tell a story that did not happen to me because
Okay, that's fair. That's
I
fair.
really am glad it did not happen to me, but I really wish it did not happen to this person either. But the story is really cool. So, yet again, we are in Kenya. There's a lot of really great things that happen and a lot of interesting stories afterwards where you're like, wow, how did that happen? So, in where we stay, we are staying right along the beach. We're on the coast, and there are what they call beach boys. If you've been anywhere with beach boys, it's just what they call them. It's people making a living by selling stuff on the beach, and they will nag
Not
you,
music,
nag
though.
you. No,
Oh,
just
okay.
not music,
Do they
unfortunately.
surf?
Nope, they just
Long blonde hair?
nope,
Certainly not.
nope, none of that.
Okay, I'll stop interrupting you.
But they want you to buy their stuff. It's like bracelets or it's like homemade, like it's
Yeah.
like Maasai, like jewelry or tapestries, like a bunch of stuff. But like it's often way overpriced. Like they're just you want to just go and enjoy the beach and they're really wanting you to buy stuff and you're like, no.
I have
So,
been there, done that. In
But we did go out one day when we were walking and we saw a boat that had a glass bottom and they were going out to the reef and we were like, hey, like what are you doing? And they were like, oh, for I forget how many shillings it was, but they were like, it was like $2 American. We'll take you out to go snorkeling on the reef.
Yes, please.
And we went, okay, like duh, of course we're going to. So we had one free afternoon and our team went, yeah, we're going to go snorkeling in Kenya. Because like here in the US, you go and it's like, don't touch this, don't do that,
Oh, I
stay
know
in
it.
your group, do
Yeah.
this. But they really just, this is what they said. Watch out for sharks. We'll tell you if we see anything, but have fun. And me being adventurous, I was like, this is great. So we had a wonderful time. We went out and dove the depths of the ocean. It was like 15 feet. But, we picked up starfish and we got to see eels and lionfish. Bunch of cool
Lionfish
different
are
things.
Scary, aren't they? Like the most
Yeah.
venomous creature on earth.
They are. But we stayed away. And then there was also sea urchins, which we were warned. Watch out for the sea urchins. They're these black, spiky little things. And
No
they
joke.
will... foreshadowing. We get back, 40 minutes later, we're in the boat, and one of our team members was like, so, that's great. She's like, so, I did kick a sea urchin, by the way. And we're sitting there, my dad's the leader of this trip going, what do you mean? Yes, that was our reaction. We were like, what do you mean? Like, why didn't you say
No.
anything? And she's like, I didn't want to ruin the excursion for you
Aw.
guys. Whatever. So we were like, okay, like we're trying to logistically figure out, are we going to take her to the hospital? Are we going to take her to a doctor? Like, what way do we do this? And we actually had a boat captain come up and he's like, I've been a boat captain for 20 years. I have seen this happen before. Like, I need you to trust me. Like, the hospital's it's going to be expensive and a lot of time. And we're sitting there and we were like, well, I don't know. My dad was like, I'm not making that decision. He was like, they're in your foot. Like, what do you feel most
Yeah.
comfortable with? And Charlesie's a trooper. She was braver than anybody else. I would have said I wanted to go to the hospital, but she said, nope, like, tell me what you want to do. So this man goes over to the bushes along the beach, and I'm pretty sure it was a papaya, like, leaf / fruit. He went over and he cut it open, and he said, trust me. And he cuts it open and he squeezes it along her foot.
Ooh.
And he goes, this draws the venom out. And actually, he's like, watch. So he pours it on her foot. The black ink pours out of her foot. And the
No
spikes
way.
actually like rise to the surface to where they're sticking out. So they don't need to be like dug out. We all
Wow.
poor girl, she's in pain. But we're sitting there like, how did that work? And he was like, if you were at the doctor, they would have like been digging in
Yeah.
your foot. And no, he sat there and he just talked to us. He just talked to us and told us about his life as a boat captain. And he took these spikes out of her foot, like just natural
Natural
something,
medicine.
natural
That's
medicine.
right.
But we had to choose to trust him in that moment because it
Wow.
was like hospital or random boat captain that charges $2
Random boat
for
captain.
that charges
and
$2
his
for an
plant medicine.
excursion. Yeah, like what do we do? But it
That's
ended
the
up.
name of this episode.
There we go.
The boat captain. The random
captain
boat captain and his plant
and
medicine.
his plant medicine.
That
But
worked.
you know what? It probably was the worst for her, but it could have been a whole lot worse.
Oh, yeah.
And we chose to trust him, and I learned something new that day. It was like watching a nature documentary on TV. So
That's so cool.
if you ever do go snorkeling, wear shoes and
I
don't
have,
do that.
and I did, but I brushed up against some
Oh.
sea urchins, and I didn't know it until after the fact. because I
But
got
they
back
can
on the
spike
boat and
you?
like no, there were all these little
Barb.
barbs in my leg, and they just started to sting so bad. And it just felt like
No.
a burn, really. And I was like, "Oh, what is this?"
Like,
And
what
for
is
some
that?
dumb reason, your natural inclination is to like put your ankle back down in the water because it's burning. Well, it's salty down there.
Yes.
It's just like ah.
Making it
Yeah,
worse.
and it just had to wear out. Like I didn't. It wasn't that severe, but it hurt. Anyway, I was dragging a GoPro. It might have been one of these ones underwater. Like as I walked along, just trying to kind of see, what the reef was like, and reviewing the footage, I saw where I brushed up against an
Oh,
urchin on the
man.
way. Yeah,
It looked pretty painful.
it does hurt a lot, but I didn't have like the
Needles.
they didn't like come off, just like little barbs that were
Yeah, no,
part of
she
the-
had like probably 2 or 3 inch barbs. Like she kicked it good. So, man, well, there's your
Well,
worst
I never
stories.
knew that. Well, now I know what to do if there's a papaya around.
Yeah,
That's-
some sort of
okay.
magical. Just
Wow.
try
yeah,
it.
that sounds like this is a great topic for another episode about the ways that people
is.
around the world know about the medicines that God made right into nature.
They do. I would never have known that, but he'd
Yeah.
been doing that for 20 years, and he's like, "I've seen this a million times. Let me just do it." And we went, "Okay."
I noticed something. Well, I learned a lot of stuff when I went to Cuba. When I went to Cuba for the first time, one thing that really struck me was that when I was asking what different plants and flowers and trees were, people told me what they did,
Oh,
like before
yeah.
they even told me the name, because they just knew what all of this stuff does for your health or as natural medicine. I was like, that's pretty cool.
That is really
we don't
cool.
know anything at all.
Nope, we don't. We don't at all. They do know. So,
Well, if you want to go around the world and
Yeah.
learn all of these things that people
have the best and the worst stories.
Yeah.
You can have your own.
you can go have your own best
Best and
stories
worst
and see what the
stories.
Lord has in store for you to surprise you. But yep, that's it. That's missions. You get
You get what you get.
surprises, and even the worst things, they become cool stories later
They do.
on. So that's good. But
Yep.
it's always fun to work with. We talked a lot this episode about just working with locals and the advantages of partnering with them and the things that they know about their culture and their environment. And that's really what we're all about at IC,
Yep.
is just
It really
partnering
is.
with people who live there long term and are going to be there after we come home. And so if you want to experience that, go to internationalcommission.org, see what trips we have coming up this year. And
Lots of cool trips.
you can be a part of sponsoring those partnerships all around the world. And if you like this episode, if you like the podcast, help keep it going. Like and subscribe.
Yes,
Leave
please
us some
do.
comments. If you want to hear about something, let us know. If you want to just to stop talking about something, let us know.
Let us
just
know.
interact with us, because this podcast is for you. We want people to know us more, who we are as actual people working in missions. We're just regular people that say yes to the Lord and get to experience awesome stuff.
Yep.
We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.